Um, well, it's an honor to be here in my own apartment, broadcasting across the internet. Hi, I'm Zach Ganner. I'm a television writer, author, and content creator. I've also been a travel show host, and occasionally I'm a fitness guru. And my life tells the story of a guy who was picked last for almost everything and found success by finding his community, really. Um, I could say that was all about luck, but someone once told me she doesn't believe in luck, but rather that life prepares you to seize your moment. And since that someone was Oprah Winfrey, I listened. Um, I'll tell you more about that experience in just a little bit, but first, how did I get here? Here specifically, uh, Warren was very persistent, and I have a strong Wi-Fi connection. Um, but really, the first driving force for most of my success was my mom, because when I was born, I was premature and diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and all bets were off as to what my life's trajectory would be. Because um, growing up, I didn't really fit in anywhere. Um, I went to normal classes for about a week in the Buffalo school districts, and the teacher said he doesn't belong here and recommended that I be placed in special ed. Um, I mean, who flunks the tryouts for kindergarten? Apparently me. But my mom was the one who really saw my full potential and insisted that I be integrated into normal classes, making me the first disabled student to do so in my entire school district. And as a result, I was able to build friendships based on common interests rather than common ailments. And it's really impossible to overstate the importance of this first, most basic opportunity that was given to me, because every subsequent personal or professional success in my life has in some way been bolstered by people I never would have had the chance to meet without my mom fighting this first battle on my behalf, right? Um, However, being the first disabled student at my school meant that nobody really knew what to do with me. I may look young, but this was the 80s, so it was pre-Americans with Disabilities Act, and the only exposure most people had to disability was that debilitating one that made everyone think that giant shoulder pads were a great idea. Um, and early on, it became clear because in the absence of regulations or rules or laws, that the key to meaningful adaptation for me was through finding people with an adaptive mindset. Thankfully, I had some amazing teachers who saw my talents rather than just my limitations. My grade school that I went to didn't have an elevator, so I missed out on things like music and art because those were on the second floor. But in fifth grade, my teacher, Mrs. Nabozny, gave up her planning period so that I could dictate my first piece of serious writing to her, which was a farcical play based on the Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt summer blockbuster Interview with the Vampire called Twinkie Lover's Blood. And um, at the end of the school year, when I was finished with the play, she allowed me to do a staged reading and cast all my classmates, despite the principal reading it and saying, "No way he can stage this at the school." Um, and one of the actors in that play was my first and current best friend, Andrew Martina. I remember meeting Andrew because he had a very rigorous acceptance process that I had to go through in order to get into his Power Rangers club. Um, and when I got to high school, Andrew was the only one who still made me feel normal when I had to drop out, when I developed stomach problems that were so severe I couldn't go to school anymore. And I don't know if anyone has stomach issues, but they eliminate pretty systematically any opportunities for spontaneity. But during this time, my dad surprised my brother and I with a trip to Rome. And even though I was really scared to go, he'd bought these non-refundable tickets on Priceline, so I had to. And it was absolute chaos in the best possible way. My wheelchair charger blew up in a European socket because I didn't know that you could, they weren't the same. The trains were completely inaccessible. And did you know that well, you probably do know because you're all like, you all read, but did you know that Pompeii, the city famous for being covered in volcanic ash, is surprisingly not wheelchair accessible? Um, and, don't get me started on the Spanish Steps. There is not a Spanish ramp in sight anywhere. But the silver lining was that I filmed this whole misadventure on an 8 millimeter camcorder. And from that point forward, my dad was always hounding me to make a travel show about what it was like to go globetrotting in a wheelchair. Um, I'd always wanted to be a filmmaker. So in 2005, I went to the University of Texas at Austin in their radio, television, and film program. And I met some truly incredible collaborators and friends that I still work with to this day. And in one of the classes that I took, we were tasked with developing a pitch deck for a television show. And partly to make my dad proud and partly to get him off my back, I made this 20-page document for a travel show called Zach Anner Presents the World. I think we have an image. Can you see that, Warren? Yeah, it seems like you can. Can't hear you, but that's cool. Um,
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot I was muted. Yeah, I
No
can see
worries,
it.
no worries. Cool. By 2010, I'd made some stuff that I was really proud of in school, but I had no idea how any of the skills I'd acquired there would actually lead to a career. And then, of course, Oprah Winfrey sauntered into my life. Um, my mom called me one day and she was like, "You have to submit a video." And I was like, "What, Mom? Slow down. What's going on?" And she elaborated and said that Oprah Winfrey was launching her own television network. And to drum up excitement, she had this competition going on where anyone could submit their idea for a show that they wanted to make. And one lucky winner would get the chance to make their show on her network. Um, and I want to show you my audition video. Hey, America! My name is Zach. I'm from Austin, Texas. I think we met at Janine's party once and really hit it off, but I think we should get to know each other a little bit better. And I heard Oprah was giving away a show to somebody that really, really wanted it and had something to say. And I've got a lot to say, but I didn't know exactly where I would fit because I have something called cerebral palsy, which I believe is the sexiest of the palsies, but it does sort of limit where my strengths are. I tried the cooking show, and normally when I cook, I set my pants on fire, and this didn't go any better. The next thing we're gonna learn how to cook is takeout. The health and well-being, the yoga was interesting.
This isn't yoga, I'm just putting on pants.
America doesn't want to see this. Fashion, I felt I was really good at. Like I could do a lot of that, but I don't know how the rest of the world would feel. I decided that what I really want to do is make a travel show for people who never thought they could travel and inspire people to go on an adventure. Because I feel like so many travel shows are about how to plan the perfect vacation. Oh, go to the perfect restaurant. Oh, hey, Bono, how's it going? I didn't expect to see you here. But my travel show would be about how to have the perfect vacation when things don't go as planned at all. Oh no, all our stuff was stolen. Oh, we've got to figure out a way to climb up the mountain. And this would be something to prove to people that no obstacle is too big, no mountain is too high, no volcano is too hot, and no Atlantis is too underwater or fictional. We're just going to go on the craziest adventures we can, and whatever we encounter, we're going to have a great time. Because my mom always said, when life gives you a wheelchair, make lemonade. I don't know what she meant, but I'm going to take her advice. And so if you're ready, America, let's go on an adventure together. All right, I'm ready. Perfect. Let's go. Hey, America. Now, if you'll notice, Ward, most of that video is me talking about how terrible I would be at all the categories that were actually listed on the competition website, cooking, fashion, all those things. And then proposing something new that wasn't even on their radar, but had been swirling around in my head ever since that trip to Rome with my dad when I was 15. So it was like, what if a person with a disability hosted a travel show? What would that look like, and why the heck not? Because when you're told your whole life that even the simplest things might be impossible for you, then all things being equal, you may as well take the moonshots. And when my friend Aaron was filming that video, my advice to him was make sure you get the wheelchair in the frame, because I knew that in the context of this competition, my wheelchair actually made me a unicorn. I also I thought it might help give some context as to why I was moving around like a Muppet. Um, but there's that saying, if you got it, flaunt it. But they never really elaborate on what it is. Why not wheelchair? Why not cerebral palsy? I think too often we're afraid to stand out, but I was given what I now consider the gift of never having a choice. I used to think that my CP was something I needed to overcome, but I found my path when I stopped forcing myself to do things that other people could obviously do better. And I found the things that I could do that nobody else can. That audition video wound up going viral on a site called Reddit, um, and amassing millions of views overnight. And suddenly the kid who had spent his life struggling to find community had found it, and it was the entire internet. From over 15,000 submissions, I was chosen as one of the top 10 finalists to compete on your own show, Oprah's Search for the Next TV Star. And in the end, I was able to win my travel show, because Oprah saw me as this charismatic, hardworking, and talented young man. But I got a secret for you. The only reason that she saw that was because before the show had started, I'd worked with producers so that they could accommodate me. And one of the accommodations they made was, well, the other contestants had to be sequestered in their hotel rooms for the duration of the competition. I was allowed to bring a personal aide who would help me get ready in the mornings. And that personal aide, the stipulation was they had to be like a medical professional and not a friend. But I knew somebody who was going through med school at the time, and it just so happened that it was my best friend, Andrew, from the Power Rangers Club. Um, and so the reason that I won that show is wholly because Andrew was there every morning to, you know, boost my confidence, comb my hair, make sure my shirts were ironed and not on backwards. So I give him a lot of the credit. Um, and that show became something called Rolling with Zach. I have the trailer. I'll show it to you. Hold on just a second.
Let the boy see the world if he wants to.
Hi, I'm Zach Hanner, and I'm obsessed with travel.
And thanks to Oprah, my dream of having my own travel show has come true. Now I'm going on the journey of a lifetime, and I'm taking you along for the ride.
Can you call me Iceman and I'll call you Maverick? We have liftoff!
I really want to see the local perspective and kind of get an insider's view of things.
Can you guess where we are?
How do I break it? How do I break it?
Oprah! Come on! Papa needs a new pair of wheels. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But how does anybody know what happens in Vegas if no one talks about what happened in Vegas when they go to Vegas? What?
I run exclusively on sugar.
We're making it mocha now, baby.
Mocha now, baby.
Oh, wow. Paging Dr. Jellybean, that's me. For a guy who has cerebral palsy, I never thought I'd be doing this. Whoa, I'm going up that. This wetsuit is not working. Look, Mom, no sense of balance or direction.
You really just have to have a good attitude.
Go, Anno, go.
Sorry. Here, I'll buckle up.
You better
This is getting serious.
Challenge yourself, and you can accomplish great things.
I didn't know that I could do something like this. Okay, so Rolling with Zach, I don't know if you could tell, but it was a groundbreaking dream come true that changed the landscape of inclusive television and was on the air for about 10 seconds. Roughly 5 people watched it, and 3 of them were my mom and silly mustaches. So I can't really fault the network for canceling me immediately. But it was jarring to go from being handpicked by the most powerful woman in television to being fired by her in the span of a year. Ultimately, my Oprah show was polished, but it lacked the heart and the silliness of my initial audition video. And it became more about me being shown the world in its best light rather than me inviting people to experience the world with me. So I made sure that my next travel series embraced the unexpected, like my father had taught me to do, and championed the internet community that had put me on the map. So I went back to Reddit and I asked the Reddit community what to do and where to go. And then my best friends from film school and I piled into the SUV that I had won from Oprah as part of that competition. And we set out on a 6-week road trip across the country, armed with only our cameras and real up for anything attitude. So, unlike my Oprah show, we did not have producers to vet our locations or sanitize our bathrooms. So, as a result of that, I got to see places and do things that anyone other than good friends would have written off as too complicated or dangerous, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to show you one more clip and then we'll get on to Q&A.
So we're going to a waterfall in or around Blacksburg, and it's about a 2-mile hike, and I called the people and they said that it is not wheelchair friendly in any way. So my solution is to carry Zach on an army stretcher for 2 miles. So just any of the ones out front?
I feel like this is one of those ideas where if it works, it'll be a great example of ingenuity and how awesome my friends are. And if it doesn't work, it will be a great example of just the negligence and horrible ideas we have. So we headed to Jefferson National Forest for what was sure to be the most relaxing 2-mile hike through treacherous wilderness we'd ever experienced. Oh jeez.
That's not so bad.
Are we sure that it won't that the chair won't go? Because if it's like this the whole way.
Don't think it is.
Oh Jesus, that's scary.
Good. Baby steps down the hill.
Baby steps. Big steps.
How we doing? Okay, pretty rocky.
To be honest, I'm a little nervous. Never seen anything like this before. I've never been in the wilderness like this. I've never seen water rushing like this, and it's really incredible. It's because I have friends like these two that this is even possible. Now, they could still kill me by accident. Even though it was difficult, the views were beautiful, and we knew it couldn't get any tougher than this. Until it did. It's big.
It was on a rock. It is a good rip though. Pretty good rip.
Really good rip, and we've got to go back.
Just have to hope that it keeps going.
Oh, jeez. It just ripped again.
Well, we're so f***ing close. How far can you go piggyback? Alright. You on? Yep. Alright, I'm good. Onward. Here we go.
So we left the stretcher for dead, and the only way I was gonna make it to the Cascades now was if I went full Yoda.
Oh hell, this is a hell of a lot easier. Yeah.
Things were really starting to take their toll on the guys. But at least we were close. We've only gone 1 mile. With the rain coming, I'm not sure we can get there and get back before the rain.
Sure we can. We don't even know if the rain's coming. When you're surrounded by a bunch of trees like this, one of the trees is going to get the lightning and not you.
It might fall on another tree, and then it becomes a domino effect where all the trees in the forest fall down on you.
I'm not sure your assessment or Brad's assessment are entirely accurate. We'd come so far, but had so much further to go, and were completely exhausted. And we started to wonder, should we really be doing this? It seemed like we might never get there. Like we'd have to eat Josh and use the food he brought for shelter or something.
But then we saw it. The f***ing Cascades! Yeah! I've never gotten to do anything like this before, and there's probably a good reason for that. I wouldn't recommend anyone else with a physical disability try it unless you have equally crazy friends that will help you. No, you're conscious of the fact that you are making a memory and living one of the greatest experiences of your life. One of those days. And if we don't die on the way back, then that's even better. It's f***ing cold in there too. It is f***ing cold.
So, you know, the only thing tougher than carrying someone up a mountain 2 miles to a waterfall, feeling worthy of being carried. There are people in all of our lives who make sure our challenges don't derail our dreams. But I've been given the gift of being constantly reminded that I can't do it alone. That's true for everyone, by the way, but it's hard for some of us to realize it. Being self-made is a myth. We are all of us community made. And while I'll be forever grateful to Oprah, I think I have to disagree with her a little bit that life prepares you to seize your moment. I think the great people in your life do. And with that, I'll just say thank you so much for having me, Warren, and happy Disability Pride Month. Now, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I see we have 20 viewers on Facebook. I don't know
Oh,
if any of the Facebook people have any questions yet. Otherwise, I have some.
well, whatever works.
All right, so maybe I'll just get us started and then see if any Facebook people have any questions. So, what do you think is the your favorite thing that you've worked on?
My favorite thing that I've worked on, other than riding shotgun, okay, there's a couple. Speechless, which was a show on ABC that I got to be a writer for and act in about a nonverbal teenager and his quirky family. Um, and that was like a once in a career experience because I was able to tell stories from my own life and make people laugh and really feel like I was making a difference in the community. And then the other one is a show I did with Rainn Wilson's media company that no longer exists, sadly, called Soul Pancake, called Have a Little Faith, where I got to go and interview people from all different religions and faiths and just talk about what their faith meant to them. And I really felt like I was building a sense of understanding from doing that. So those are some of the things that I'm most proud of.
I think Have a Little Faith is still on YouTube, maybe. I'd have to
Yeah.
go and
Yeah, I
look.
think it is.
Speechless is a little harder to find. It used to be on Hulu, but I think they took it off.
They took it. I know. I had to buy the shows that I wrote. That's how tricky it is, but it's a wonderful show. I wish that it was still on Hulu so people could watch it because every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, this was good.
Yeah, I miss it. I thought they had some interesting storylines that they could keep going with.
Yeah, my dream is that that one day we're able to do like a revival series about JJ becoming a dad and having a fifth family and how his whole family pitches in to do that. But I'll have to like definitely prod Scott Silveri to see if that would be something he'd be interested in doing.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to see if Micah wants to do that.
Oh, I think Micah would be on board. He'd be on board. He's great.
Probably.
He's awesome.
So let's see. Facebook people aren't posting anything yet. So what
That's
are you working
fine.
on? What are you working on now?
I am well, I'm doing a lot of feature writing right now and just uh, got a grant through the Inevitable Foundation to write an action movie with a disabled lead. So, and also I'm doing a podcast called Answer For It with some friends of mine, a trivia podcast where we ask obscure trivia questions and we come up with even more obscure answers. So check out Answer For It too.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely listen to that. I'm big into obscure trivia questions.
Awesome. Um, yeah, and if nobody has any questions, it's cool. I mean, it's like it's summer in Massachusetts, so you probably want to get outside and I don't know, get lobster, go down to the where are you in Massachusetts? I was just in
Uh,
Boston last week.
so we're southeast of Boston. So there aren't really any beaches right near us. You'd have to drive probably for 40 minutes or something to get to a beach, and it's kind of a rocky beach, but you could at
Uh,
least get lobster.
you could at least get lobster in 40 minutes. We're in LA and 40 minutes is nothing in LA. It takes me 40 minutes to drive to the end of our street. Um, so I think you should definitely, if you could get some of that summer vibes, then you should.
Yeah, I will. Once you're telling people to do that, I'm sure they will because you have that kind of power.
Do I? Do
I
I?
I don't know. Maybe.
But yeah, it's just thank you so much for having me, and it's been an honor. And like yeah, I'm just so happy and to support public libraries because it's so important. Like I honestly, I just got into reading during the pandemic because we now have the technology that allows me to read in a way that I can actually like engage with it. I my eyes don't track, so I have trouble uh, reading with. I have two lazy eyes. But I now that we have programs that can, highlight and follow along and actually read it to you as you see the text on screen, like I got really, really into reading. So support your local library, support this library. I'm sure you guys are, every library needs support.
Yep, we will have your book on our shelf soon. I asked
Dude,
for it to be ordered.
cool, cool. All right.
I it's in our system. It's not on our shelves particularly, but
We, yeah, well, thank you so much for at least starting to get it there. If you liked any part of this story, there are better versions of it in the book.
yeah, and they're more raunchy.
Yep,
All
yep.
all the stuff that was censored from here is in the book.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff you really don't want to read about me is in the book. Um,
Yeah.
but thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I hope you have a great rest of your Disability Pride Month.
Same to you. And
Thanks.
thank you so much for coming.
Of course. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.